Black and blue, I crawled along the wreckage of what now is gone. Back to you to fight another day. I'll go on and on and on and on. I'll face it, the demons I created with every last part of me. The pain will fade and I'll go on and on and on and on. Black and blue, I crawl to you. Black and blue, I crawl to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to SmackDown. Introduce a little
Was
blue.
I gonna do the introduction?
Yes.
Oh, like now?
Yeah. Right now.
All right. Well, hello, hey guys.
Started.
Welcome to another SmackDown, and for Fridays, literally October has arrived, and what better way to start off October and for the first live stream of October than talking about the latest updates and news we got of the Illuminations animated Mario movie, because we definitely for sure got some updates and news, and especially the film's official voice casting. And we're not only gonna talk about that, we're gonna talk about, like, say, the past Mario voices and so on, and from the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Mario Brothers movie, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and whatever else we talk about. So we'll get started.
Right. So.
We could have done Super Hornio Brothers, but then YouTube would have our ass.
All right. So the first casting choice from the Nintendo Direct is none other than the voice of Mario in the movie itself, Chris Pratt, of all people.
Yes, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Go ahead, little blue.
He's
What are
the
your
guy
thoughts?
that did a thing with Raptors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Jurassic World.
Yes, and can't forget about this, because Chris Pratt, best known for him as Star-Lord / Peter Quill in the MCU and in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, and he had previously done voice work, which being of course Emmett in the Lego movies.
Yeah.
So he's no stranger to being a voice actor and such. And from what we heard, like, Chris Pratt, well, he's not gonna do his regular voice or anything, because he for sure used his regular voice when he voiced Emmett in the Lego movies. But for Mario, no, because he is going to do a voice, and I'm sure he'll do his very best to do Mario's voice, because Mario with that Italian accent. Just
It could probably be Brooklyn accent.
Yeah, it could probably be a Brooklyn accent. I mean, I'd imagine Chris Pratt will come up with something that kind of sounds like Charles Martinet, since Charles Martinet will actually be in the recording booth with him. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that he'll take pointers from Martinet to do a good Mario voice, but he'll probably do a sort of Brooklyn spin to it as well.
Right.
Yeah, Martin does have some cameo roles in the movie as well.
Exactly.
But I mean, at least it's good to know he actually will try to put on a voice for this, because I imagine if he used his normal voice for Mario, it'd sound a little bit decent, like, "Hey, it is me, Mario," and stuff.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird because that's actually how Illumination usually does things, unless you're Steve Carell.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And then there's continuing on with the cast. Okay, for example, we should definitely talk about this one after Mario, Bowser.
Oh boy, Jack Black.
Yes, Jack.
The better half of Tenacious D.
Exactly. Here's my thoughts on the. Who should go first?
Do you want to go first, or anybody?
I think GH should go first.
Okay.
Okay, Like, obviously, Jack Black is no stranger to Hollywood productions. He's pretty much everywhere you can expect to laugh in like a loud and rambunctious way. But in terms of like putting on a voice for like animated roles, look no further than Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, Poe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I mean, Jack Black was really kind of typecast in that role anyway, so I think Jack Black will face a kind of a bit of a challenge when doing Bowser. He'll probably have to do a really deep voice. But I feel like that Jack Black as Bowser, he has that kind of energy that could probably work for Bowser, but then again, Bowser's just generically evil, but then again, Jack Black has played evil before in the 2005 remake of King Kong.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He also did an evil character in the Neverending Story 3, though not animated and not low pitch. But it makes me wonder if Bowser's going to get, like, his own song or musical number, because, like, Jack Black seems to rock those, like, a lot, especially in games like Psychonauts.
I can actually see that happening.
I don't know if he got a musical number in Brutal Legend, but he rocked Brutal Legend.
So who wants to go next on their thoughts on Jack Black?
I did, but I already kind of did, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
So it's my turn, I guess?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my thoughts on Jack Black as Bowser. Well, yes. Well, Michael Page, on what Michael said, he's no stranger to Hollywood productions. Well, I'm switching. Well, with a switch around, Jack Black is, of course, definitely no stranger to voice acting. And so from I think if I recall, the first time he did voice acting was, for example, he did Ice Age. He was one of those saber-toothed tigers. And then he would do Shark Tale as Lenny the Shark. And then, of course, best known for him voicing Poe in the Kung Fu Panda films. And yes, because even I said this too, that Jack Black, he's played evil before, like, what's-his-face in King Kong, the Peter Jackson King Kong film. And I didn't know about this, what Michael said about, he played a villain in the Never-Ending Story 3. And, let's face it, Jack Black, he's a funny guy and so on. Well, for example, you had Jim Carrey as Robotnik in the live-action Sonic film, and you know what? He did an awesome job. He nailed Robotnik, and it's going to be really exciting to see, Jim Carrey returning as Robotnik for the second one, and from what I heard, Jim Carrey will be, according to him, he will be wearing like a fat suit or something to go with Robotnik. But jumping back to Jack Black as Bowser, so yeah, I think that he might just like say with Chris Pratt, he will do a voice. I think Jack Black would definitely have to do a voice for Bowser because we know how Bowser sounds. And my comment on what Michael said about a musical number and such. Okay, where have we heard? We have not heard anything. They did not mention anything yet, and I say the word "yet" on whether or not there's going to be musical numbers or anything like that. And this is Mario we're talking about, okay? Has there been any musical numbers in the games? Not as I recall, but I don't know. Again, all we've gotten so far are, again, the updates and news is just, say, the voice casting and everything else. Down the road, we'll get more information such. And you know what? The likely chance of, like, if there's any song numbers or anything like that. And if Bowser, as Michael says, if Bowser has a freaking song number, boy, that'll be interesting. But let's face it, Illumination, I don't like. Okay, they did Sing and then the upcoming Sing 2, but okay, they've done a couple of other animated films that are not musicals, like, for example, Despicable Me. Well, that's all I can think of right now. But yeah, I'm very interested to see what Jack Black's performance will be about Bowser. So there you go. That's my full thoughts on the whole thing of Jack Black being Bowser.
If only Pharrell Williams actually is Pharrell Williams actually hired for the Mario movie? Because I'm curious to what songs he would actually do for the background.
Well, I mean, he did, let's face it, he did the well-known song Happy in Despicable Me 2, and not to mention, he was the narrator in Illumination's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, because he's no stranger to illumination, so I wouldn't be surprised if I heard him again.
I think like is it me? I think I think it could be me. I don't know. Like as of now, I'm thinking of this. Pharrell Williams is like a lucky charm or something to Illumination.
Yeah, kind of like how John Ratzenberger is to Pixar, which will be a later episode.
And how, like, say, another familiar voice actor and who's done a lot of voice work for Disney, Alan Tudyk. I think he started becoming Disney's own lucky charm.
Yep.
So everybody, like, anybody would have some lucky charms, which I think, it all started with Pixar. Their lucky charms, John Ratzenberger.
Yeah, thanks Pixar for introducing that to the industry.
Oh well. There's no problem with it. In my, like studios having their lucky charms.
I don't really mind. It's actually fun and a fun Easter egg for people that are paying attention.
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. Okay. Now that we've talked about Jack Black as Bowser, okay, Seth Green as Donkey Kong.
What?
Not Seth Green. Seth Rogen,
not Seth Green.
Seth Rogen, I meant. Sorry, Seth Rogen. I got the first name right, but the last name I got it wrong. So it's Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong.
Seth Rogen. I actually think that Seth Rogen can actually do a great Donkey Kong, since from his voice on Bob in Monsters vs. Aliens, he can actually do a really good sort of deep, kind of laid-back voice. And I can actually kind of translate to a sort of kind of like a monkey quality to the voice, where, Donkey Kong being all like, woo, woo! Like, I can just imagine Seth Rogen actually doing that very well.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What about you, Michael? Your thoughts?
I don't really know who Seth Rogen is, but from the way he's been described to me by people, he's kind of like if Andy Kaufman was a bit more douchey. So going off of that, I think it works for Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Okay. Now my thoughts on Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Well, you know what? He might not be a bad choice, and besides, again, Seth Rogen, another actor who's no stranger to voice acting, and I like him as an actor. I like him as at his voice acting, and you're forgetting that before Bob and Monsters vs. Aliens, which being a DreamWorks film, he had before that had voiced Mantis in the Kung Fu Panda films, but he had also I'm trying to think, he even voiced an alien named Paul with that movie with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. But he had also been the voice of Pumbaa in the live-action Lion King. So, and I remember seeing him in that horrible live-action film of the Green Hornet and other films I can't remember, but I think, as Decim was saying, because with him voicing Donkey Kong and, the thing with Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen, I'm sure he could pull that off, too. And, it's going to be interesting to see, because, okay, the animated Mario film, there's no doubt, because, okay, Bowser's going to be the main villain of the film, but for Donkey Kong, I'm not really sure, because, God, I cannot remember. A question: is Donkey Kong a semi-villain in the Mario games or something?
Well, he is a bit of a villain in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, and he is the villain in Donkey Kong the original.
Yeah. Okay. So with that question answered. Okay. So as I said, Bowser. There's no doubt that Bowser is going to be the main villain of the animated Mario film, but it'll be interesting to see what part Donkey Kong is going to have in the film.
I think Donkey Kong would make a good idea for, he starts off as, a sidekick to Bowser, but then he kind of gets distracted, and he ends up being a sort of, a side character that inadvertently helps Mario sometimes.
Right. That'd be interesting.
I don't see Donkey Kong as more of a villain for this context. I think he'd be much better fit as one of them secondary protags, an anti-hero kind of thing. Because
yeah,
with him I get with him, we get like a vibe like Mario and Donkey Kong as to Yugi and Kaiba, if, in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because like with Kaiba really don't like Yugi. He wants to take him down a peg, and he's kind of the rich douchebag. But nonetheless, he obviously will fight for good if he has to. And Donkey Kong, I get the same kind of vibe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. There you go. And also, okay. Now we've talked about our thoughts about Donkey Kong. Let's do Princess Peach next.
Oh boy, Princess Peach. She's apparently gonna have a bit of a British accent.
Yeah. Anna.
Oh my god, a personality in a Mario movie? Call the news!
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy, who's going to be voicing Princess Peach. Now, I'll go ahead and start. I'll start it off first with my thoughts. Now, I have seen her in some pretty good stuff. Like, best known for her being in the last two films by M. Night Shyamalan, Split and Glass. But also, she'd been in. I saw her in she was in The New Mutants, which came out last year, and done a bunch of other stuff. I was in that Netflix show, Queen's Gambit, and trying to think of what else she's been in. Oh gosh. Well, she had previously done some voice acting, and oh gosh, I'm sure you guys would remember this, because this happened 2 years ago. The Playmobil the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
because she'd done voice. She was one of the main characters in that, and so that and okay. We know that we know how Peach sounds, and we know that Anya is British. You know what? I really can't remember. I don't think some of the films that she's done, she didn't use her British accent. She might have just done American accent or anything like that. You never know. She could try her best to do Peach and such, and not use her regular accent. It's just hey, Chris Pratt. He's not gonna do his own voice. He's going to do a voice for Mario. So that, and I can. No, go ahead.
It does depend on her enthusiasm for the project, as opposed to her agent's desire for the monies. But I do know that there are British actors that can do American voices, but they struggle a little bit. Hugh Laurie, who is not only House, but he was also Stuart Little's dad in Stuart Little 1 and 2, and maybe 3.
Yes.
He's actually a British actor, but for shows like House and movies like Stuart Little, he has the American accent. The critics say he struggles a bit, but I say it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even he used his regular accent when he voiced Dr. Cockroach PhD in Monsters vs. Aliens, and the Disney live action movie. I remember Tomorrowland. I can't remember if he used. I don't think he used his regular accent. He used an American accent. I'm pretty sure he did. No, because I think it was British. But overall, because jumping back to Anya voicing Princess Peach, we'll see what happens. She could very well try, do a voice for Peach and not just her British accent.
And I'll have a bit of input on this. If they're going for the Leslie Swan angle, I'm talking about Princess Peach's original voice from 64, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Anya doesn't actually have to do much. I heard her normal voice, and it actually sounds conspicuously like Leslie Swan's Princess Peach. He just has to.
Right.
She just has to do a bit of an accent, and it's perfect.
Exactly.
But I imagine that they wouldn't do that, so she'll probably have to go lighter, like she is now.
Right. So everybody talked about their thoughts on Peach.
Correct.
Everybody.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we've talked about our thoughts on Peach. Okay. How about let's now talk about Charlie Day voicing Luigi.
Yeah. I don't really know much
What
about.
did they do again?
I don't really know either. I don't know jack shit about Charlie Day, but I did look up voice demos for all the characters, and Charlie Day just seems like the super energetic character, and I feel like that energy would work for Luigi, but here's the thing, Luigi's not really that energetic, he's just more of a bit of a coward type character.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
go ahead.
Put an energetic voice in a coward role. He could totally play the holy shit, I'm scared I'm gonna piss my pants kind of aesthetic and do it really well.
Yeah. I feel like that'll probably be Luigi, because I can just imagine that now fitting really well with sort of Illumination's style and sense of humor.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's how he is in Luigi's Mansion, so it could fit.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. I guess, yeah, it's my turn to talk about, my thoughts on Charlie Day voicing Luigi. Well, I just looked up. I'm looking at this right now, and I remember now. I am familiar with Charlie Day. I know what I've seen him from. He had previously, this is actually him and Chris Pratt's second time working together on an animated film. They previously did the Lego movies, because, Chris Pratt, he was Emmett, and Charlie Day, he was the voice of Benny, the Lego astronaut that goes crazy over spaceships. Spaceship! But not only that, he even, other voice work he did was he voiced the monster character, Art, in Monsters University, that purple furry guy. And I am familiar with Charlie Day's wife. I've seen her doing some acting and such. But for Charlie Day, he's no stranger to voice work, because I'm looking at this on IMDb. He's done various bits of voice acting, and again from the Lego movies, Monsters University. He was even in live action, he was in Pacific Rim, and did a voice in an episode of American Dad, and he was in one episode of Saturday Night Live, and that's about all I know. That's about all I know of Charlie Day. Since Charlie Day, he's voiced characters, like Art and Benny, because they would kind of go crazy or anything like that. And I think he could totally do a nice job as Luigi. And if he's gonna, and I don't see why he wouldn't. And just like with Chris Pratt, gotta do that voice for Luigi. I would hope so. But...
I mean, I would, if I were his agent, I'd give him this advice: do kind of an Italian accent, but still be you, if you really want to go for that Illumination style of humor.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would kind of be like that too.
All right.
Okay. So now we've talked about Luigi. Let me see. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Jack Black. Then there's also other characters. Oh, that's right. Toad.
Oh, Toad. Keegan-Michael Key.
Now, he too is no stranger to voice acting. He's done plenty of voice acting, and he might not be a bad choice for Toad.
Yeah, I'd actually think he's a pretty good Toad, because from the voice demo I've seen of him in this one video, he'd actually do pretty well as Toad. All he'd have to do is make his voice higher. That's it.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. And I've heard that it's very hard to do the voice of Toad, so if Nintendo wants to make it easier, they could just do Keegan-Michael Key if he does a good job in the Mario movie.
Mm-hmm. Did anything you want to say, Michael?
There are so many things I could say that could probably get me canceled if I say it, so I'm going to plead the fifth on this character.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really give a shit that he's black. All I care about is a good voice, and he actually seems to have a good voice.
Yeah. Okay, so... Yeah,
it's not like it's live action and they're putting him in whiteface or anything.
No. And okay, so I guess we have talked about our thoughts on Toad, but other characters because there's we're gonna have Cranky Kong in the film. Cranky Kong. Anybody remember Cranky Kong? Familiar with them?
I vaguely know what that guy
no.
is, but I don't really know the character that well.
Oh no, not Cranky Kong. Cranky Kong's the original DK, I think.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fred, and the voice for Cranky Kong, Fred Armisen, like, yeah, I know him a little bit. Like, he's done some voice work as well, and he was in that like latest animated film that came out on Netflix, and it was the Mitchells versus the Machines, that movie, and did voice work on Star Wars Resistance, American Dad, and Alana, the Avalar, the Disney princess on TV, and done some live action, of course. So, same here. I don't really know that much on Cranky Kong, and and what voice Fred would go for, but just have to wait and see.
Yeah, because from the voice that I see of him, he just looks terrible. But then again, I have to hear him in the trailer, so I'm holding out for that.
Right.
And
then there's...
I mean, Cranky Kong should be relatively easy, right? He just has to be like an old man. Like stay away from my bananas, you damn millennials.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And,
Actually,
go ahead.
I'm pulling up an image. Well, not on the stream, but I'm just sending it in the chat of Cranky Kong. So,
all right.
So you guys don't know what he looks like?
I do know what he looks like. I've seen a picture of him.
Okay, well I just pulled it up.
I've
So
played Donkey Kong Country. I know what Cranky Kong is.
that's what he apparently is supposed to look like.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he's an old dude, and that's the point.
Yep.
With a big beard and with a stick as a cane. So
Yep.
Imagine if like someone put him in a red suit and a belly that shook like a bowl full of jelly. Then he'd be Cranky Claus.
yeah, and then there's Kevin Michael Richardson. He's voicing Kamek in the film.
And that guy's just a voice acting legend. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he can do any voice he fucking wants.
Exactly.
And from the voice demo I've seen, the first voice that they've shown in that video, that's actually fucking perfect Kamek. Like, I know this guy can do a perfect Kamek. That guy's just perfect, dude.
Yeah. And Kamek, like, what's Kamek supposed to be again? He's like a evil sorcerer or something?
Basically, yeah.
He's a wizard lizard.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd imagine that he's supposed to sound like this sort of witch character. He's supposed to sound like a male witch, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
I was honestly...
Okay, I was just going to say, because, Kevin Michael Richardson, there's no doubt about it that he'll be good in the film and is the voice of Kamek, as you guys were saying, and that's all I wanted to say right there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can continue, Michael.
I was honestly surprised they went with the Kamek character in the movie at all, given the controversy that the character had in Europe. Like Mario Party 8, there's a scene where you're like on a train, you encounter Kamek, but at the time he was known as Magic Koopa. And I'm pretty sure no one from the UK is watching, so I feel safe saying this. His line, I kid you not, was Magic Koopa Magic turned the train spastic, and apparently that's a slur in the UK. So they had to recall the Europe versions and change that word to erratic. But needless to say, it left a salty taste in British mouths at the time.
Yeah, but that was just one small game from, like, back in the day, so I don't think that Britain would care at all. Like, it's literally just one controversy that you probably don't even know if you weren't there for it.
Mm-hmm. And then another.
Weird Al was. Weird Al accidentally continued the offensive train when he did a song "Word Crimes." So like that word really is a hot button over there. So it depends. We'll see.
Oh,
right. So now we've talked about Cranky Kong. Another, I don't even know this guy either. I don't know if you guys would either. Spike will be in the film as well.
Oh boy.
And it's this guy. I just sent in the picture of him. Yeah.
The only voice I can think of for Spike is that shit from the SMG4 videos.
Yeah. Hey, Jim Jim.
And an actor by the name of Sebastian.
Please don't take away my waifu.
Actor by the name of Sebastian Maniscalco, however you pronounce his last name. He'll be voicing Spike. I don't really know that much about him, and he's not done that much acting. Like 4 things he's been in, as I'm looking up on IMDb, and well, I think just about 10. I'm sorry, 10. And he did do a bit of voice work in the Nut Job sequel, and his next voice acting project will of course be the Mario film as Spike. So yeah, I just don't know that much about him.
I don't know jack shit about him.
No.
So I have no real comment.
He likes the waifu anime content. Subscribe to SMG4.
And okay, so there's that. That's that. And so with Spike, but who else? Well, okay, now we're up to, of course, Charles Martin. Like his part in the Mario film. Apparently, what now?
Charles Martinet.
Charles Martin. I just heard you say Martin.
Because I didn't pronounce it right, but Martinet, yeah. His part in the Mario animated film, of course not voicing Mario, but from what we heard, he's going to be doing like cameo voices of some familiar characters that will pop up here and there in the film. Yeah, I mean it's still nice that he's in the film. Like, even though he's not going to voice Mario, I don't think it would be the same with at least him not being in the film, because Mario's not the only character he's voiced, okay? Like, and as we just heard, like he'll be voicing some cameos, like character cameos in the film, and just and well, I know this, like, okay, not only has he voiced Mario, but he's voiced Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. Here's another thing: we have not. They never said anything about this, and we don't know that much yet. Like, okay, whether or not if we would get the appearance of, like, say, Wario or Waluigi, and you know what, they can work alongside with Bowser, and they kind of technically did. I remember this clearly. I remember because the one Mario tennis game, like this mini movie or something, Wario and Waluigi teaming up with Bowser, and again, it has to do something with tennis. So I just thought I'd throw that out.
Oh, I remember this one. Take that, Mr. Eyeballs. Yeah, crazy elbow bat.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that. I can actually see Charles Martinet doing Wario and Waluigi in that movie, and like a cameo role. Because here's the thing with Charles Martinet's voice acting. His voice acting works best in spurts. Like, it's very appropriate that Charles Martinet's voice lines are just kind of small little quips that you record and that just play whenever something happens in a Mario game. Like, you don't really hear Mario speak that much. He just only speaks as much as he needs to.
Right.
So, I think that Charles Martinet, in speaking a lot in Mario, wouldn't work that well. Like, his voice can get grating after a while, so I guess that's why they just let Illumination pick the voices themselves.
Yeah.
Because those people actually know how to do voices for a long time.
Uh-huh. And, okay. So, I think that we kind of covered the voices of but another thing is, the release date of the film, like, gosh, we have to wait a whole another year for this, and literally, because, okay, we've now come into October, and we have to wait a whole year for when it comes out, literally next Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect that, considering that the Mario movie is very high profile in terms of leaks and shit like that. Like, if this were like a normal, any other old animated movie, we wouldn't even hear about it until 6 months before the release. But since this is such a high profile project, and that people wanted to do a real good Mario movie for a very long time, I feel like they're trying to, reveal as much information as they can, like, immediately, just to calm down all the speculation, just so someone, like, doesn't break in or something. Like, they might as well just release all the information now that they have, and so they don't get hacked later.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally they would have just put out the trailer and... Go ahead, GH.
I was almost about to say who's gonna have Nintendo, but then I remember people did that already.
Yeah. Exactly. So...
Yeah. We were also going to talk about, like, say, the past Mario voices and bunch of other stuff, And, we could still talk about the Mario animated film, and because, one thing is, not just with Chris Pratt voicing Mario, but the past Mario voices,
Exactly. I mean, I was planning to drive that conversation myself because I have some weird opinions about Mario voices, because, like, the first voice of Mario was even before the original Super Mario Brothers. That was back when he was known as Junkman from Donkey Kong. And he was apparently voiced by Peter Cullen at one point.
Huh. Oh, yeah, that's right. The voice of Optimus Prime.
Yep. And Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
It's a me, a Mario.
That did kind of make me laugh.
Yeah.
Autobots, let's go.
Yeah, but this was like one of his
There you go.
this is like one of his absolute earliest voices in America. Like, he didn't even do the whole "It's a" thing yet.
Well,
So,
still, I did it as a joke, and because it started with Michael doing a joke of that.
yeah. And I was about to say that
You're welcome.
eventually during the late 80s and early 90s, Mario had this sort of deep sort of Brooklyn kind of voice that we talked about earlier in the stream. Like, if you remember, we talked about Hotel Mario. Mark Grew voiced Mario in that, and I actually kind of like his voice, if only for the memes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I really like Lou Albano's take on the character, if you remember the D cartoon starring Lou Albano.
Yes, like in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Captain Lou Albano was Mario in live action, but I think he didn't voice Mario in the animated episodes, did he? Like the animated segments? No, he didn't.
I don't know, but I feel like he did.
I don't think he did.
I don't know, I don't
Okay.
think he did.
I'm actually going to look that up right now.
Yeah.
Lou Albano says, remember, kids, if you do drugs, you'll go to hell before you die.
Yes.
Exactly. And I also remember this one voice from Super Mario World, like, it's a stone, Luigi, you didn't make it!
Well, apparently he did voice. Apparently he not only did Mario in live action, he did do the voice of Mario.
Huh.
Yeah, and Luigi in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, that was Danny Wells.
Huh. That's Mama Luigi to you.
That's Mama Luigi to you, and
Luigi!
do you guys have any like fond memories of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, or did you guys even liked it? Because I know like some people didn't.
Yeah, because it is gaining a cult following nowadays, but back in the day, and especially in like the late 2000s, they were just mocked as like a joke. because
Right.
people were so used to Martin at one point that they didn't really consider other options.
Right. You know, something else is like
Yeah.
the one thing that bugs me about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. There are a few things. One is that their pants, like because they're red, like their pants are red and green, but they're really supposed to be blue and such. Their shirts are blue and so on, and Princess Peach is called Princess Toadstool, and Bowser is called King Koopa, and he looks entirely different than how we know what he looks like.
Yeah, because back in the day, all we knew about him were like the 8 and 16-bit sprites of him. Like most illustrations, like magazines and comic books and such, varied widely because there was no real detailed design for Bowser yet.
Right.
You could even see this in Mario 64's original Bowser model.
Yeah, I don't think we called her Peach until somewhere around the transition from the 16-bit to the 64-bit era, if not later, because that was originally her name in the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then some of the episodes I remember of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. In fact, the very first episode I ever watched, and actually it was when I got a DVD of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and that was Star Koopa, Mario doing a parody of Star Wars, and Koopa being Darth Vader and so on. And so that I remember seeing one with Jack and the Beanstalk, dinosaurs, and others that I had not seen, but I remember watching Nostalgia Critic's review of the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Like, there's one of, like, say, Raiders of the Lost Mushroom, and they have an Indiana Jones wannabe named Indiana Joe, and he's got, as Nostalgia Critic described him, of course he's got the hat, the jacket, the whip, and so on, but he doesn't have a face.
Give me a face, you fucking bum.
There you go. You remember. How cheap are these bastards?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a point.
I mean,
how cheap are they? Because they didn't bother putting in a freaking face.
Huge boop.
Yeah.
Quit it.
And
there's one thing I remember
throughout the Mario
Show.
Throughout the Mario Brothers, I was just going to say, throughout the Mario, even Nostalgia Critic points this out about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, there's a lot of pasta jokes in the show. May the pasta be with you, and I can't, that's all I can think of, because that was from the Star Wars parody. May the pasta be with you.
Yeah.
But, okay.
One thing I remember about Super Show is it had a really rocky cycle in terms of home media, because only certain companies put out DVDs of the Super Show. Some companies they only did the animated segments, none of the live action stuff. And other companies, when they did it, they did the whole thing, but they didn't do any Legend of Zelda cartoons apart from previews. Or, they would, totally redub the music track of the animated portion. Because I remember Count Cupula, when they were escaping the castle, or was it Kupenstein? One of those. But one of them, you could, hear in the background as they were escaping a cover of Thriller. But in the DVD version, they don't have it. They dubbed it over with something else.
Honestly, I don't really have that much thoughts
not
about...
Not only is the show hard to find, but the DVDs aren't really helping. But I did rent the ones from Netflix, and they were pretty good.
I don't really have that much thoughts on the deep cartoons, but besides what I just said, but here's the final bit of information that I'm going to contribute to this episode, to be honest with you. My ideal sort of voice would be... I already said this in the prequel, but I might as well say it on the show. The exact halfway point between the Hotel Mario voice and the current Mario voice. He would still be quote-unquote Mario, as we know him today, but here's the thing. It would still remind you that he's an Italian plumber from Brooklyn who's down on his luck just trying to be optimistic. Like, Mario, in my opinion, is just way too optimistic. Like, in my opinion, like, it would have been more interesting if Mario was actually just trying to be happy just to, you know, try to get that peach ass.
Uh-huh.
And I think it would be funny if Mario was really just this sort of dude from New York who's just trying to get by. And he's trying to have fun while doing it. So, and my ideal Mario voice would, you know, reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would do something like, hey, it's me, the Mario, and I gotta get that ass, and also, too, where's the freaking... Something like that. That with a bit of a Brooklyn bit to it. Almost sounds mafia sounding.
Yeah.
Now here's something else about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show that I definitely want to mention. In the live action, you know how, like, because the live action segments, they, like, okay, we have the live action Mario and Luigi and Lou Albano and Dan Wells, I forgot his first name, but he like, during those segments, we would have sitcom laughter.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be sort of like a kitschy sitcom kind of deal, like it wasn't supposed to be serious at all.
Yeah, but then there's also, and then also in the live action segments, they would sometimes have guest stars. Like, as Nostalgia Critic points out in his review, like, from the guest stars they had Count Dracula. They literally had Inspector Gadget on there, and even Elvis Presley. Like, not the Elvis, but just like, say, an Elvis impersonator. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
I mean, Inspector Gadget easy, because both the Inspector Gadget cartoon and the Super Show were produced by Deke.
Right. And, you know, it's kind of...
I mean, honestly, based on the whole Deke thing, what really surprised me is that they didn't get Sailor Moon.
I think even with the episode that had the Star Koopa segment, you know, the Star Wars parody, it was also that episode was also like a Christmas special, like, you know, Mario and Luigi having Christmas, and even like Santa guest starring.
Yeah, better than Inspector Gadget's Christmas, I'm sure. But
I've not seen that.
Anyways,
and then
back on the subject of the movie. Okay.
Yes.
Back on the subject of the movie, this would probably sound freaky coming from me, but given that one of the recent games we got was Mario Odyssey, one thing that would be kind of funny to see in the movie is if Mario did what we in the community call nipple percent, if you know what I mean.
No.
Okay, I'll explain. There's this thing in Mario Odyssey where you can buy and change Mario's outfits, right? Like, nipple percent refers to a speedrun category where you go from the start of the game to the outfit purchaser and get Mario in the swim trunks, because that's where he takes off his shirt and shows his nipples, hence nipple percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun fact about the nipples, it's actually what got Mario Odyssey a higher age rating compared to the other games. Like, in the ESRB, usually Mario games are rated 6+, but Mario Odyssey is rated 10+. Whereas in Japan, Mario games are usually rated A, meaning 3+, but Mario Odyssey was rated B, meaning 6+.
Right.
So,
this all has to.
It really got people stirring.
This all had to do because of Mario showing off his nipples.
Yeah, like, now we know Mario has nipples. It's canon. It makes me wonder, like, will they allude to that or even acknowledge it in the movie? That'd be funny.
Yeah. And something else, like, I was going to mention, because, on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, I wanted to quickly throw this out, one more thing on it, because Okay, so not only do we have the animated sequence of Mario, but of course we had Zelda, and that catchphrase that Link has. Well, excuse me, princess. Excuse me. Yeah, so we have that.
I can imagine that being like a post-credit scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, imagine after you make the Mario movie, Illumination wants to just get right to work on a Zelda movie.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh. Could you imagine? I mean, it could happen. It could happen. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
If it was, if it
like, hopefully they'll do it more accurately. Because last I checked, there were 3 Triforces, not 2. Legend of Zelda cartoon.
Decem, you've been kind of quiet.
We already know, like, there's a wisdom, there's a power, but what the Zelda cartoon doesn't acknowledge is the Triforce of Courage.
Right. And Decem, you've been a bit quiet for a few minutes. Do you have anything to say?
He just went to get a drink.
Oh, I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him say that. My apologies. He didn't even mute his microphone for some reason. He didn't mute his microphone.
I guess he figures nobody goes in his room, so why bother? Either that or he'll easily forget to turn it back on.
All right. Well, boy, that'd be out of nowhere if somebody came into his room, and spoke. Okay, but aside from that,
I can just imagine his mom coming in why doesn't he clean his room? Why does he have bad dragon memorabilia all over the place? How many gigabytes of RAM does one computer need?
And and not only that, but you'd also expect, who is talking? Who's talking? Okay.
Like, does he have imaginary friends?
No, but and then we would say, hey, we're his friends, stuff like that. But okay.
And she'll be like, that's a lie. That's a lie. Walt Blank does not have friends. I make sure of it. He only has one friend, and that's me, his own mother.
No. God. Okay. Jokes aside from that, until he comes back, we might as well. I think we covered the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. Now we come to Super Mario Bros. Movie from the 90s with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and perfect timing because he's back.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was just saying perfect timing because you're back because now I think we've covered everything about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and now we might as well now jump to talking about the Super Mario Bros. Movie that has Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper.
Yes, that one. I actually saw that one the first half or so of that movie when I was a kid, and I was like, this is just weird. But now that I'm older, I actually appreciate all the production design. I actually really like the look. It's just that it's not really Mario at all.
Same for you. I kind of like the look and design, like the sets and how the movie looks and everything else. But yeah, I mean, it felt entirely different as a Mario film. It makes you feel like one of those movies from the early 90s, and those kind of movies where, Bob Hoskins would be in and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the worst thing about that movie, aesthetically to be honest, is how they think they're being like the games when they're really not. Hell, even Miyamoto back then thought they're copying the games too much. And that's apparently why he actually prefers the live-action Mario movie over the anime from 1986.
Uh-huh.
So that's actually pretty interesting.
You notice, and you guys remember, the opening to that film, the animation, about the dinosaurs. It was horrible. The animation was horrible.
I mean, it was horrible, but here's the thing. They were trying to replicate a sort of 8-bit game with what they knew about 8-bit games as an aesthetic back then. They didn't really see retro graphics like they did, like we do today. Like,
never
retro
thought of
graphics
that.
were just graphics back then, so they were just trying to replicate it.
And the casting for that film, like, first of all, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo as Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, and honestly, Bob Hoskins makes a really good Mario for the movie that they're trying to make.
Is he using his actual accent, like his British accent, or is he like using like an American accent, just like how he did in Roger Rabbit?
I believe he was trying to do a Brooklyn accent, like a lot of the voices in the cartoons you see at the time.
I mean, just the way he speaks, I'm thinking of how he spoke in Roger Rabbit, because it clearly shows. And I mean, Bob Hoskins, I don't think he was I mean, no disrespect to the late great Bob Hoskins, but I think he was okay, like portraying Mario. Like, I think he had the slight good look to Mario, and he did a good job with like pulling off the mustache and everything. And yeah, that's just my opinion. And John Leguizamo's Luigi.
Yep, and I don't really have an opinion on his Luigi. Like, I barely remember the movie at this point. I just remember like the first half that I saw as a kid, and I was like, ew, this is gross.
Yeah, John Leguizamo, like.
All I remember from the movie was, like Nostalgia Critic reviewing it and talking about that running joke with the pizza that ended up not being funny. And Nostalgia Critic was like, not funny plus not funny equals not fucking funny!
Yes!
No, I thought you were, if I can say this about Nostalgia Critic's review, I almost thought you were going to bring up this joke, but no, you brought up that joke, and yeah, that is funny, but the one joke that I was thinking of, and I almost thought that, Michael, you were going to talk about, was that scene where, we're going to hear, well, we never heard Mario's last name, and okay, what's your last name? Mario. No, what's your first name? Mario. What's your last name? Mario. And cut to Luigi, what's your first name? Luigi. Okay, what's your last name? Mario. Shut up. What's your first name? Luigi. And like Mario, like, what is this? An Abbott Costello skit? And just like, Luigi Mario and Mario and
Mario and Luigi Mario. I think it was like the only movie at the time, the only source of media at the time to give Mario and Luigi last names, and they just and since they're the Mario brothers, they just gave them the last name of Mario, and I think Nintendo just rolled with it afterwards.
But it's like it goes back and forth. They're supposed to be brothers, but at one point Luigi says this, and Nostalgia Critic points it out, like, Luigi literally says in the film, Mario's been like a mother to me.
Yeah, that's just kind of bothering. And here's my thoughts about the whole Mario, Luigi, Mario thing. Like, it's kind of a funny joke, but that would be more appropriate for like a Newgrounds skit and not really a movie. Skit, not really a movie.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
even attempt to discuss Super Hornio, bro.
Here's something else. Here's something else I forgot to point out. I think have you guys seen those videos where people have interacted with Mario at some conventions or something? Virtual interaction.
Yeah, I know those.
Okay, there's a video where Mario is asked what his last name is, and he says it too. He confirms that his last name is Mario. So
So it literally is Mario and Luigi Mario. So something, at least something from the movie's canon. Yeah, and I was about to say this. Like, I actually looked up Stevie Coyle's backup Mario for when they didn't have Martinet at like the conventions and shit from like 1992, and his voice is fucking perfect for like a real long-term voice. Like, just look up Stevie Coyle's voice, like Floating Mario Head 1992. You'll find his voice and oh shit, that voice is perfect.
Yes, I've seen that video, behind the scenes and everything else, like getting that gear set up.
Yep. I just love Stevie Cole's voice for Mario. It's honestly just perfect.
And what about also more on the Super Mario Bros. Movie? What about Dennis Hopper as Koopa?
Dennis Hopper's Koopa. From what I remember, it was kind of weird, but I don't really have that much of an opinion.
Remember in Nostalgia Critics review, like the best thing summed up about Dennis Hopper is, some lines that he says, "Ba-bomb" and "monkey," "ba-bomb," "monkey," Academy Award-winning actor.
But
So that, and also
That'd be like if I got a screaming for saying I'm not a furry over and over.
yeah,
and another thing is okay. I think we've covered Dennis Hopper as Koopa, but what about Daisy in this film?
I actually don't remember Daisy.
Me neither. And the funny thing is, okay, more on Koopa. I think he went from being like a lizard and such to transforming into a human, but I guess at the end of the film and his defeat, he went back to what he really is, a reptile and so on.
Yeah.
That's all I can remember. And not to mention that how the movie ends, it ends off as if, it's a cliffhanger and there would be a sequel. But of course, as Nostalgia Critic establishes, that because, the film bombed at the box office and thus no sequel ever happened.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there have been some films where they've ended off on cliffhangers, but they've never happened.
Exactly. So, I think we've talked...
Yeah.
Did we talk enough about the Mario movie, or should we say more? Because it's been an hour and a minute, and...
Well, I can't think of anything else to talk about the movie.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the right time to end it, then. Any last words?
Yeah, unless you want to talk about Super Hornio Bros, I think we're done here.
Yeah.
So we get the last words?
Yeah, so this is we have our final thoughts, each have our final thoughts, and then we are out.
Who wants to go first?
Alright, here are my final thoughts. I always thought Mario would make a good movie or TV show on the right hands, but the hands that we had so far have been kind of shit. Like, of course, we had the live-action Mario movie, which is kind of underrated, honestly. And, of course, we have the Saturday morning cartoons, which are kind of even more underrated. And then we have, of course, the Illumination film, which is going to come out soon. And I'm actually interested to see what they do with it. Now that we know a lot more about Mario now, and Mario's a lot more iconic.
Yes.
So, I guess that's my final thoughts.
Who wants to go? Okay, who wants to go next?
Alright.
You can go next. I'm still thinking.
Okay, so I can go next. Well, my final thoughts and words for this live stream. Well, okay. Ever since I heard that there would be an animated Mario film, I honestly can't remember what my first reactions were. I'm sure I was like, okay, this could be interesting, and this was just a few years back when we had the announcement that they would do an animated Mario film, and that's all we knew. It had been kind of been put on hold and such, but now, as of now, it is officially happening, and not to mention, we, a while ago, not too long ago, had gotten some latest updates and news, which being, of course, we have the movie's official voice casting, and sometime down the road, probably say that the next few months of next year, we'll get more information and so on for sure, and we'll get a trailer, and we'll definitely do another live stream on this and talk more about it, once we get that. Because the other Mario content, like the shows and the live action film, well, because I'm sure they're okay, in my opinion. What I said about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, what we talked about it, and also from the Super Mario Bros. Movie, the live action film with Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, and Dennis Hopper, yeah. But you know what? Because one thing is Illumination. They've done, because let's face it, this is the same animation studio best known for making the Despicable Me films, and they'd also done Sing, and with the upcoming sequel, of course, and they did The Grinch. That's all I can remember, and they've not really disappointed, and I mean, first of all, when they did, because they'd already done an adaptation film, which of course was Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So now this time they're doing a video game adaptation, which is going to be Mario. And, video game adaptations turned to movies can be difficult and such. Like, okay, Sonic the Hedgehog seemed like it was going to be a disappointment, like when we first saw the first look and design of Sonic, but thank God did they change that. And you know what? The Sonic movie did turn out pretty good. It for sure did, and we're already getting a sequel for next year. And not only that, not only are we getting the sequel for next year, but we will in fact also get the animated Mario film. And we'll just see how it goes. Like, Sonic turned out great, so now we'll see what the animated Mario movie has in store. So that's all I got. That's my last words and thoughts to say.
All right, so that's all Blue's take. Does GH have a take?
Do you?
Like, I'll admit, when I first heard that the Mario movie would be done by Illumination, I thought it was the sign of the apocalypse, but then we got the actual apocalypse. So, yeah, I didn't really think about the movie since the pandemic, but then when I got the announcement of the cast and that Miyamoto-san put his faith and has his word that Nintendo's watching them very closely and had like a very direct hand in the production, it does give me feeling a little better, because like, not only is Jack Black Bowser, which is like my everything, but it means only good things can come from this. Either we get a good movie and everybody's satisfied, or if the movie bombs, then Nintendo will ensure that Illumination goes to hell before they die.
God.
Yeah, because, like, the thing with Illumination is that, although they don't really disappoint, they don't really wow either. Because they're known as, like, the bland studio, pretty much.
Yeah, but now they gotta wow Nintendo, so, yeah, and that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright, guys, so that's the Mario movie SmackDown.
And just wanted to quickly say, we'll definitely do another one of this when we get, as I've been saying, when we get more updates / news on the movie, and we'll have more to say on it.
Alright, so
Right.
that's
next week.
What is next week? We are going to be browsing another subreddit next week, but not that subreddit. We're going to be browsing our dank memes. Funny images,
Right.
funny captions.
And also, yes, and Raw. Then that's it. We're gonna say the next stream, but that's next SmackDown.
Yeah, and also too, on Raw, Tonyo is going to be playing Legends of the Brofist, so that's
Stay
it.
tuned for that.
Yes, stay tuned for everything that we've talked about.